Waller, right here at WTMHGospelRadio.com.
Today is September the 14th, and all is well. I have today a good friend of mine, Stacy Wilson, and she has a ministry called No More Bandages. We have an evangelist that is going to be calling in, and she will be calling in, I think at 7:30 she'll be calling in, and her name is Shannon, and she's going to be also weighing in on the conversation today. We also will be putting up the number for those that may want to call in or may want to have prayer. We are going to be talking about abuse. We're going to be talking about sexual abuse, abuse on children, sexual violence, domestic abuse, human trafficking, the works. And the thing is that somewhere along the line, we have to talk about this subject, because we, even if we're not in that position of being abused, there is someone that we may know, someone that we may know in passing, or someone that we may know personally that is going through a heartache, an abuse. And today I wanted us to talk about it in a way that we can give information out, talk about statistics, talk about ways to help the person that's in that situation. And I really think that the people that I picked out today to be on the show are going to be instrumental in this conversation, because they lived through it and they have survived it, they have come out of it. But in the midst of the abuse, they had to take a lot of abuse from people who were supposed to be there to help them, and instead all they did was judge them. So we're going to be talking about abuse, sexual abuse, and domestic violence and child abuse. And basically, and we're going to read the word today. We want to bring some healing. We want to pray with those that want to pray. This is the Highest Praise Gospel Talk Show, and our vision statement is faith, kingdom, and empowerment. Faith comes by hearing, kingdom, seeking kingdom first. We got to live this life by the supernatural and not by how we feel and how things look. Empowerment with authority. We need to know what the word says, and we need to understand the word, not just know what it says, but understand it so that we can apply it to our lives. I always love to have Stacy on, because Stacy is so, she's real, and she just had an event that I went to not too long ago, and it was out of sight. I really enjoyed it. What was the name of it, Stacy? Y'all, I caught her off guard.
We had so many now. I'm trying to think of what
the last one.
Yes.
She really had one, I promise, because I was there.
It's been a long day.
Yeah.
But we really have one.
Yeah,
you go to NoMoreBandages.com, Miss Sarah.
Yeah, I can't remember. I can't wait. She gonna look it up. That is funny. But
that is a
so I want to just do some house cleaning, because we are really grateful. First of all, I want to thank everyone that did go and vote. Okay, I only was on one category, and it was best show, and it was with a lot of secular stations. And a lady won. I don't know who she was, and she was real happy, and I was happy for her. I don't know who she gosh, y'all. And so, but it was fun and it was enjoyable. And I thank everyone who voted. I really am grateful. I know that a lot of people voted more than once, and I love you for that. But it has been wonderful. And, okay, so this is what I want to talk about because you can still found it. Wait, what was the name of it? What was it?
My cup runneth over.
My camera person is not here, so when she gets here, she'll be swinging the camera around, so you'll be able to see more of us. But we're doing something new today. We're going to well, it's not really new, but we have someone calling in from Texas on Facebook Live. And I'm going to be, I needed the camera to be up here, so, you know, it's real technical. I just need it closer so I can see, okay? So, but this is the deal with what's going on with the show. We are now in the midst of selling sponsorships and advertisement. And we right now are in negotiations for a sponsor package, which we're really excited about. But I wanted to bring it to the attention of those that are watching because we really believe, you know, that this could be a marketing strategy for you and you would get your word out for your business. And so we have more than one strategy. And what it is that we have radio, television, we also have our website, and we have different rotations and we have different prices. And so we these opportunities we really believe will fit our audience. Those that are watching right now, we believe it'll fit you. And so if you are interested, I have put a link in the description of this show. And the package, and the link is sponsorship /ad hpgts.yolasite.com. Now, you don't have to memorize it because it's in the description. And all you have to do is go on to that, just click it, and it'll take you directly to the webpage. Now, the thing is that we also have we also are willing to customize packages for you and work with you so that you can get the advertisement dollars and the sponsorship dollars to work for you. We want this to be something that you benefit from by partnershiping with us, by buying into the advertisement and the sponsorship. We will work with you, but don't ask for a Learjet. Couldn't even get it out. And don't ask for, elephants, because I can't get to Africa, okay? But I think we could work something out, and I think we can be realistic about it and do it. Now, like I said, once again, the sponsorship package is in the description. All you have to do is hit the link. It'll take you directly in. And what else? And if if you're interested, you can either go to the Highest Praise Gospel Talk Show at gmail.com, or you can just message me on Facebook. It's either or. I also put my email in the description. So if you forget, okay, you might forget about what the email is. And so I tried to make it as accessible as possible. Just go into the description, get the link, get the Gmail address. Now the next thing that I wanted to say is that we also do in-kind donations. Okay, now this is the deal about in-kind donations. You have to show a receipt, and it has to be comparable, not comparable, because somebody said you didn't spell comparable right. No, it's comparable. Okay, so but it has to be comparable to a package. It can't be less. If it's less, then we're not going to even negotiate with that, because then anybody can come and try to give me less. Okay, and I just don't have time to do that. Maybe when we start doing conferences, because we will be doing conferences with the Loving Kindness of God Ministry again. We're going to start that up. and we are going to go after sponsorship dollars for that. And when we do that, you know, then we will give some things where either you can sponsor some bags or sponsor something like that. But right now, this is where we're at. We're selling advertisement and we're selling sponsorship, and we are excited. So, Indira, please check it out. I'm so glad you're interested, and we want a partnership. We are looking forward to partnershiping with the community and getting the word out. So that's that. And and another thing too, we are on the road now. So when we go to different communities and different events, that's also a way to get your sponsorship dollar to work for you, because then we can work something out while I'm out on the road that I will talk about, you know, give you a tagline, talk and say thank you to your business, you know, make sure I put your logo up and get you some branding dollars, get you some marketing dollars. If you have some samples that you want to give out for marketing value, we could do that. Hey Jim, and you know, so whatever, we're gonna make this thing work. Okay, so just call me, like I said, or not call me, please. The number's on it. I'm only kidding. The number is actually on the package. So if that's my business number, if you need to get in touch with me, call and we will talk, you know. And so this is an exciting time. We like I said, I'm in negotiations right now for a sponsorship. We're doing packages and we're doing presentations, and so I'm getting messages as I'm talking, and somebody from really a wonderful person, Jeremy Wyndham. He's from Ohio. For those that are not here, it's a little town in Ohio, and he was just saying something, so it kind of threw me off. All right, so here we are once again. Like I said, I'm gonna talk about the sponsorship package a little bit more. Not a little bit more. Again, for those that come in later who want to be a part of the sponsorship, all you have to do is go to the description, hit the link, go in. We can customize the sponsorship as long as you don't ask for anything crazy, because if you ask for too much, I can't give it to you. I'm just going to tell you now. All right. So that's that. And we kind of excited. So I got my friend Stacy here. And Stacy is going to say hello. Say hi, Stacy.
Hi.
Okay, so tell us a little bit about your ministry.
So I have a ministry called No More Bandages, and it just kind of starts from
Push it away.
this one.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, we're getting situated here. So again, it just kind of chronicles my struggle with violence, what was in my home as a child, and then as I grew up as a teenager. You know, we talk about a lot about teen dating violence.
Yes.
And so endured that, then married this person, then went through a whole
and that's funny because there's stages, isn't it? I mean, because developmentally, a young girl in comparison to a woman is two different mindsets, and so the abuse is different, right?
Right, exactly. And I I really believe that had I got help at 4 years old, I wouldn't have went through it at 14.
Right.
So that makes a difference.
Right. And so the book that you wrote is called
No More Bandages.
No More Bandages, and that's it's like
So No More Bandages was more of my a guide, a handbook.
Okay.
You know, we all go through so many different things, and so it has all different kinds of subjects in it that you can read really quickly. It's maybe a page or 2 pages.
Right.
And it just helps you with whatever situation you may be going through at that time.
Right.
And then the second book I wrote is part of No More Bandages, but it's called On Top Shelf. And you know, if you ever been in a bar, you know, just keep it
So
real.
wait a minute, we been kind of fast because you said it's like a workbook. That first book,
Yes.
how did they work through it? How could it help them? Because I want you to sell your book.
Okay. I should have brought one with me. I had one the last time, but there's just different topics, and what's good about it is just not like a chapter book that you have to just keep reading and reading, but instead maybe you need a subject you're trying to endure, you're trying to just make it through that day, and it'll just be a topic, you know, about long suffering, or just, you know, finding peace in your mind, peace in the day-to-day activities.
Right.
And so that's what this book does. It really does guide you, and you really can just pick it up, you can carry it with you, and you're going through something, you go through the index and look at it and just say, man, you know, that really inspired me.
Right.
You know, there's scriptures, it's just really Holy Ghost led.
So what would you say if you had someone and they said to you, okay, I got your book, what would be your what would be your suggestion on how to start with your book? Tell them what you would tell them to do.
So within the book, I mean, there's obviously an introduction, and it explains, and there are 5 things you need to start to work through, you know, and
what are the 5 things?
I gotta get my book.
Okay.
But it just kind of, you have to decide what you want. You have to make that decision that you want something new.
Right.
It's good to say it, but you have to act upon it.
Right.
And you can't just, you know, talk is cheap. We all say that.
Right.
But this book is to encourage also, because we want people to come out of whatever situation they may be in. You know, like I said at 4, you know, you have so many things, and with a bandage, you tend to cover it up. You don't acknowledge it, or you cover it up with drinking or drugs or boyfriends, girlfriends, all these kind of things, and you cover it up. But just like physical, God has given us stuff inside spiritual that will heal wounds. Right. But it's up to us to take that first step. Right. And so that's what the book will do. And one of the biggest things
So give us a testimony on when you were discouraged and how God helped you.
So one of the biggest things that we always say in No More Bandages is you can't change anyone but yourself. So we try to change that person or make them better, but it just doesn't work that way. You change you, and the people will either change around you or they'll leave. Right. And that's what you need. And so that's kind of what God did for me. It was just a sort of a mind change. Like, but I had to want it. I had to desire something more. Right. Like we were talking before, you get caught in your everyday routine. And then you just
so
think
what
it's
did
normal.
you believe about yourself during that time? Did you have any thoughts about yourself? What did you?
I didn't think anything of myself.
And when you say that, for those that are listening, because they don't, some of them know exactly what you're saying, but there are some people out there that are so clueless. What does it mean to think nothing of yourself?
You know, when someone is telling you constantly that you aren't anything, or that no one will want you or love you, then you tend to believe that. Yeah. And if you don't have anyone filling that with something positive. Right. So psychologist studies say that for every negative thought you have or negative word that's said to you, you need 5 positives to counteract it. Wow. So if you're going through your life 24/7 of someone telling you negative, you're going to believe that. And so I didn't think I deserved more. I didn't think I was worth more. There. So I didn't think I looked good enough, you know, to have anything more. So
that's the thing. So let's go slowly, because there's people who are out there, and it's okay. So this is the thing. So you didn't think you deserved more. So
anything good, I wasn't worthy.
It wasn't worthy of anything good. Yeah. And so what did God tell you that made you stop believing that?
Well, first God sent someone. Whoop. Yeah, so that was the first thing. You know, God always has a ram in the bush. So first He sent someone to remind me whose I was and who I was. So that was the first thing. Okay, so let's stop right there.
So He sent someone. And who was that person?
My cousin Joanne. Yes, because I wasn't saved. I was in this relationship that was just, you know, horrible. And so God sent her, and she, as I always say, she just loved on me. She didn't judge me of what was going on or what I was doing or who I was with.
Jordan is
She
very
just
strong.
loved. She is.
She's very strong. Cause
And she had my back too.
Yeah, 'cause she'll fight you.
She was ready to fight. She was going to fight this grown man. I'm not even kidding. So, but you need someone to reinforce what you don't feel or don't.
You need
believe.
a network. You need a You need a network of people.
Yes, you need a
village. A village
Yes.
of people. So God sent you the mayor. That was Joanne.
yes.
Of the
Same
village.
one that was ready to fight.
Yeah,
that had a knife,
she was the mayor.
Yeah.
So who else did he send?
Well, he just started with her. I mean,
Okay.
even as a child, I had my grandmother, so she's
Right,
the one
right.
who taught me who God was.
Right.
But you know, as you grow up, you veer off
Right.
those paths. You don't focus. You get caught up in life. You're
Right,
a teenager.
right.
You know what you gonna do? But,
Right.
But I had to be pulled back and reminded because I was saved at 11.
Yeah.
I was truly saved at 11, but had no one to really
So
understand
Joanne
that.
brought God back into
Yes,
your life, and that's
exactly.
what brought you back into the love.
Exactly.
That is really
Yeah.
powerful. Well, you know what? We got more to talk about. See, I don't know. I don't know about you guys. I don't know about you guys, but I need to put my glasses on so I can read. I don't know about you guys, but there was always a ram in the bush. God will always send somebody right at that moment where you're at you're in despair. You know, I always say the place that you meet God is in despair, because once you are in despair, that means you don't have no more energy.
Amen.
You can't do no more for yourself. You can't think of anything else to do. So all you have is to choose God. That's it.
You relinquish the
You-
control
yeah,
that
you-
you have,
thank you.
that you have, that you think you have.
That you
give it to
right,
God.
and
Yes.
in that, you know, relinquishing. I love that word. Relinquishing. You know, what happens is that as you let go, He comes in. And even though it feels like you're losing something, you're gaining something so much greater that will recreate your thought patterns, that will give you a self-esteem that you could not find anywhere else. You know, you can't find it in the eyes of another man. You can't find it in friendship. You can't find it. But when you bump into a big Jesus, and he's, you know, what's so crazy is that Jesus, you can't see him. Now some people do, so y'all, okay, I feel it. Because they'll be like, I saw him. Okay, we'll see him then. And so, but on the norm, okay, you can't see him, but you feel him. You know he's there, and over time he becomes more tangible. But you gotta first let him in. And this is gonna be a powerful show. Please like and share. Please like and share. Please call somebody and let them know that we are talking about violence, domestic violence, sexual violence, and child abuse today. And that we are going to be coming out of the Word of God. We also are going to talk about self-esteem and talk about seeing yourself worthy of your own love. You know, sometimes we don't even love ourselves because we have been torn down so deeply by people, and you know, just you don't realize when you say to a child certain things how it affects them. And they carry it with them,
Correct.
and forever.
There's still things I remember. There's
Right.
still dreams I had of
Right.
being me. I mean, I remember.
So this is the thing, you know, when you're wounded spiritually, when you're wounded in your soul, really not your spirit, but in your soul, in your mind, will, and your emotions, what happens is that the enemy will build a stronghold and have you captured. And the way you know you need deliverance is that this certain area, you can't get free from it. This thing is constantly happening, no matter where you move, no matter who you're with. You just keep getting in bad relationships, or you keep messing up your money, or you keep, you know, I don't know, beating people up. You know, you might be an angry kind of person. I don't know. And, you know, so it's just when you are in a rut and it won't stop. That's how you know it's a spirit. That's how you know you need deliverance. So we're gonna go and we're going to play a song, and we will be right back. This is Evangelist Tanya Waller. I want you to tune in to the highest praise gospel radio talk show on WTMHgospelradio.com, where you can receive your blessing and your deliverance on Saturday at 7 p.m.
Put on the whole armor of God, that you may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. With your loins girded about the truth, the breastplate of righteousness, feet shod with the gospel of peace, the shield of faith, the helmet of salvation, the sword of the spirit. I'm not your typical. Hey, I'm not your typical. It's spiritual. I'm not your typical. Hey, I'm not your typical. Watch, I'm not your typical. Hey, I'm not your typical. You feeling me? I'm not your typical. Hey, I'm not your typical. Look at my physical. Armor I wear on my chest if it's critical. Armor is red for the blood that was shed. Trying to run up and you lose, I'm invincible. Army go high, the angelical host. Look to your left and your right, then I'm post. Trying to defeat me will be like impossible. Taking no credit because of the most high. High God is my God. I'm coming for you devils. No weapon is formed against me gonna last. My sword and your sword is different because I'm cutting a little different tomorrow. I'm a last. Faster, I blast you. I'm coming for your head. I'm a warrior in the army of the Lord. Come through with my faith. I'm coming by the sword of the spirit, and you can feel it as the word. Just look at me. What do you see? Open your eyes and as white as can be. Carrying truth is the better around me. I'm not playing no games. I'm attracted to heat. Look at my feet. It's carrying peace. And when I stay focused, I feel like a beast. My eyes are wide open, no looking Chinese. I go hard for my favorite beast more than these streets. I gotta eat. Leave you obsolete. You come up against me, you're like incomplete. I'm there, the salvation in Christ. I'm completely the reason I'm living. He's living in me.
Yeah, I need you to move it.
But I'm stay focused, we never retreat. Go hard for my sake, be more than this. I'm just off with your head, that's that shit complete. I'm not your typical. Hey, I'm not
And all you have to do is swing it between us. Because see, what'll happen is somebody's calling from Texas, and they're going to be on this thing right here. Okay, so when they're about to call in, I'll let you know.
I'm not your typical. Hey, I'm not your typical. It's spiritual, I'm not your typical. Hey, I'm not your typical.
Yeah, okay. So you just, bring it back. Yeah, okay, got it. I didn't turn the mic on, so. Okay. Unless you want it on, no. Okay, I'm good. Wait, I'll just. Come on, I didn't see that. Oh, you didn't see it? Because, you weren't here.
I know.
And not only that, but I really need to see what's going on. I couldn't see. Could you put this in there?
I had to make me some gas money today. So I took somebody out in Polaris.
Yeah, she's flowing in Zira. She's flowing, girl.
I know I could turn so I turned it. Did the same thing.
So we are back, and I wanted to talk a little bit, give you some statistics concerning domestic violence, and then after I give you some statistics on that, slowly throughout the show, what we're going to do is we're going to give statistics on each one of these subjects. And so with domestic violence, a person is abused in the United States every 9 seconds. On an average, 3 women are killed by a current or former intimate partner each day in the United States. Now, it's funny because they say intimate partner because it could be a woman. You could be in a lesbian relationship. She'll kill you, girl. So that'll happen. All right, so 1 in 4 women have experienced severe physical violence by an intimate partner. 1 in 4. That's okay. It says 1 in 4 victims of intimate partner violence identified as lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, or queer, and that's from the National Coalition of Anti-Violence Program. 66% of female stalking victims are stalked by a current or former intimate partner. And that's from the National Stalking Resource Center. So now, you know what? I've heard of people being stalked, okay? And I've had that happen to me, the problem is that they don't come till after the fact. You know, a lot of times, and I want us to talk about that, but let me finish these statistics and then we'll talk about that. But the reason why a lot of times you don't feel safe is because you know that they won't get there until after the fact. And if you're not like Xena the warrior princess and you just more like, you know, a puppy or, you know, a little kitten or something that goes hides and cry, you know, it could kill you. Okay, domestic violence costs more than $8.3 billion a year in medical care, mental health services, and lost productivity at companies. So even companies lose money from people. Everybody loses in this. More than 15 million children witness domestic violence each year. I want to talk about that too. And then 3,500 to 4,000 children witness fatal family violence annually in the United States. And that is from the National Task Force on Children Exposed to Violence. Okay, so the first issue I want to address is that when you're in a domestic violence situation or a violent situation, there are ways to handle it, even though the police may not come during the violence, but there are options. And so what I'm going to do is turn the camera toward Stacy and let Stacy talk on that. Go ahead, Stacy.
I've had several instances where I had to call the police. To be frank, I never really even reported specific domestic violence.
Okay.
But just either I was trying to get out of the house or, you know, there was some situation going on. You know, he had a bonfire with all my stuff in the backyard and I had to call the police. So just little things. I've had to get a protection order.
Right.
So it's there are right ways, but sometimes you don't make it through that. Yeah,
and see, this is what I was gonna say. In the end, when you're in a situation like that, you have to decide to leave.
Yeah.
And you can't just now I know you cray because you like me. I'm leaving. I ain't putting up with this no more. No, girl, that's not the way to do it. Okay, I promise you. What you need to do is you need to come up with a plan. You need to hide copies of keys and copies of your personal information. Put it either in a safe hand where you know it'll be safe, or dig a hole somewhere and bury it so that when you get out of that house, you can go get your stuff. Because once you leave your stuff in that house, you cannot go back. You cannot go back. And the thing about most people is that pride gets in the way and you want to go get your stuff. But every time you go back, you put yourself in a dangerous situation where either you could get killed or you can kill somebody. You ever get so scared that you just want to kill somebody? Hey, Apostle Stone, you just be like, so, you know, your adrenaline start kicking in. You know, that Puerto Rican and Indian start flying around. Next thing you know, you did something and you went red, and then when you came back, you on the floor. You know, stuff like that. You don't want that to happen. So what you want to do is you want a real strategy. And you have to decide you love yourself more than you love him or her or them. I don't know what that is. Huh?
And do it safely.
Right, and do it safely. Yeah, put it on.
You have to do it safely because I had an incident where I was going back to get my stuff.
Right.
And he snatched my car keys, and so I'm left sitting in the car with the car doors locked and him inside of my house. I mean, I own the house, but I couldn't get in to get my stuff.
Right.
And so when you're ready to sever them ties, you truly have to sever them ties.
Right. And see, that's the biggest thing. You have to make a choice. You have to make a choice. But trying to tell him you leaving, you never let your left hand know what your right hand is doing. Okay, child? Let me tell you. I tell my kids that all the time. Don't do that. The thing is that when you're in a very volatile situation where it may be peaceful and in a minute it could pop off and it could be really bad. What you need to do is to keep your mouth shut and do it quietly. And stop trying to show how strong you are, because the truth of the matter is you're not that strong. Because if you were, you wouldn't be in that situation. That's the truth. So, you know, when a lot of times what happens is we decide, well, I'm going to love you out of the darkness. And I'm going to bring you into the light. But what happens is their darkness is so gross that your light gets put out. Or the little bit of light that you have, you got to hide it. Because that person is so mean. You know, you ever have somebody so mean you can't even be nice to them? I mean, you wake up, you know, you never know what their personality is like. Put on.
Right. You don't know. That's one of the key signs to check to see if you're even in a situation, because it might not just be violent, but it could be emotional. So you don't know. But if you walking on eggshells, if you can't be you, if you can't, you know, simply ask a question or talk or be yourself, or if you're always questioned because they see you as possession. Right. They don't see you as a human. They possess you like a car or animal or something. Right. And you need to know that you're worth more than that.
And see, and this is the thing, you know, if you were raised like that, it's hard to know that it's wrong. And that is, and I don't know anybody else's community. I just know my own. I just know the black community and the Spanish community, and mainly black. But the thing is that a lot of women are raised like that, and they have watched their mothers be treated like that, and so they don't find out it's wrong until they go into another environment and people are saying it's wrong, and they're still, you know, struggling with the fact that, you know, this is what feels normal. You know, we were talking about feeling normal. This is a big thing that we were just talking about. When you come from a very abusive background and that's your normal, you don't even realize that you're normal. You know, because if somebody doesn't tell you that this is not right, everybody else is doing it, so and from a child, that's all you've seen, that's all you know. But I like what Stacy said. She said that if you can't, say it again, Stacy, if you can't you can't be yourself, go ahead.
Yeah, if you can't be yourself, if you can't be who you are, right. You have to be this fake person or just, you know, with the mask and be on eggshells. Then no, you're not. It's not a true relationship.
You can't even ask questions.
Right. You just are stuck to be this person's whatever they want.
Whatever they want.
Yeah. And that's what I was always told. If you would just do what I told you to do, or just do how I want you to do, be what I want you to be. Right. Then we would get along just fine.
And okay. And this is I got someone here. This is Indira Williams. She said, my father was like that, but I vowed never to connect with someone who is like my father. Amen, sister.
And that's the man I ended up with, well, he was a boy at the time, was just like my stepfather. And he was the one that had the biggest influence because he's who we lived with. Right. So the thing that I despised, the thing that I hated the most was the thing I was drawn to as I got older, because it was comfortable. I recognized it. You know, if that's what you saw as you, like you said, as you were growing up. That's right. It was normal to me. It looked right. It looked appropriate. Right. And probably the same, that spirit knew that I would receive that as well. That's right. And so that was the first. And
the thing is you could you can live sad. A brother, this is Favor Shannon. He said, I'm watching from Liberia, West Africa. Praise the Lord, Apostle. God bless you. The thing is you could grow up in an environment where you are sad all the time, and being sad is all you know. Mm-hmm. You don't know that. And I always, when I'm preaching, I say certain things, and people, they look at me like I'm just being conceited, but really I'm not. I'm talking from my own experience. And I always say that when a person says you're too happy, that's because you don't deserve to be happy. Because they've never been happy. And I can say that because I was like that. If you're raised in an environment where you're constantly depressed or constantly, trying to juggle, between somebody else's ideology and what you hear inside yourself, but what's inside yourself is constantly putting you in a bad situation with the people around you, what happens is that you just learn to live oppressed. And so I have a very big personality, and it's so crazy because I come from very happy, like really on the surface happy people. And so if you have a big personality and you come into a room of a bunch of unhappy people, the first thing they do is they either get insecure or they say, there's no way that woman could be that happy. Just ain't no way. And, I just think that when you have to start defining your atmosphere, you have to. I just said to somebody on Facebook, because they were telling me about I needed to be deprogrammed from Jesus, okay? But I told them, that's what he told me. And I said to him, but you know what? I create my own atmosphere. I create my atmosphere. I don't let people create my atmosphere. That came from coming out of an atmosphere that kept me crazy. So, you have to learn to define who you are, learn who you are, and then find from the Lord Jesus Christ what your atmosphere should be. Because once you come into Christ Jesus, then your atmosphere becomes his atmosphere. Your words become his words, and it gets easier as time goes on. So what we're going to do is we're going to play a song, and then we will be right back. So true, you are speaking divine wisdom, woman of God. Thank you, prophet. Thank you so much. God bless you.
Cover me with your blood. Hide me behind the cross that you died on. Shield and protect me from hurt, harm, danger. Cover me, Lord. Cover me with your blood. Hide me behind the cross that you died on. Shield and protect me from hurt, harm, danger. Cover me, Lord. This is my earnest plea. Here I am, crying out to thee. This is my earnest prayer. This is my earnest plea. Here I am, crying out to thee.
Hold on.
I'm sorry I'm late.
Hold on a second.
Cover me with your blood.
Can you hear me?
Cover me, Lord. Cover me, God.
Can you hear me?
Okay, I'm trying to make sure I'm with you. It's okay. Well, we have now Shonda Culver. She's calling in from Texas. How you doing, Shonda?
I'm great, thank you. How are you?
I'm good. I'm trying to get you on my other speaker, and I was
Okay.
for some reason it wasn't clicking. So, but and then when I did it, what happened was, oh, your pastor's on. He said, "Kingdom blessings."
Thank you, Pastor.
I don't know what happened. Okay, go ahead and talk, Shonda.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you good. I was just trying to get you through. Hold on one second. I guess it's
Okay.
not going. But I'm gonna bring you closer to me so that way I can. Yeah. Oh, that's smart. Yeah. Good. Okay. So yeah, let's try that. Okay, we're gonna put you on the mic. We're trying something new today, so just just be with us, girl. So how was your day today?
It was great. Today was very good. We had a event today, and so that's why I'm running behind. I'm so sorry about that. But I wanted to make sure that I came, so I drove as fast as I could to get home.
Oh, well, I'm glad to have you here, honestly. We were just talking about abuse, and we just went over some statistics, and Sister Stacy was saying she was talking about her testimony. But what I want you to do is just to just introduce yourself, tell us where you're from, and tell us about your book.
Okay. My name is Shonda Caldwell Cipriano. I am from Dallas, Texas. And I do have a lot of experience, matter of fact, with abuse. And so I went to prison and got for 2 years. And while I was in prison, God blessed for me to write my own book.
Right.
And in the book, actually, is my whole testimony of my whole life. And so, I've been through, sexual abuse from my dad. I've been raped, gang raped. I've also been beat, from my dad and mom sometimes. And then it's definitely from my first husband. And it's crazy because it kind of went over into my new marriage, and so my first 2 years of my marriage was pretty tough. The enemy tried to show his ugly head there. But, I have to say, he will show his ugly head just to see what you're going to do,
Right.
And now I have to say, my husband is changing. He's doing his thing. I've never had a man love me as much as my husband does. So I'm very grateful that.
Where's he at? Is he there?
He ran to the store. He'll be right back.
So let's just slow down a little because you have a very, very strong testimony, and it's going to help a lot of people. Okay, that's the first thing. And I believe that we go through things for the glory of God, even though we don't realize that He's going to get glory out of it. So you were saying that you came from a family that was dysfunctional. And so we were just talking about how did that make you see yourself?
I have to say, growing up, at home, you know, with my dad, my mom. It was 6 of us, so it's 5 girls, 1 boy. I'm the oldest of everybody. Say struggling at home and all the abuse that was at the house. You know, a lot of times you think of home as supposed to be your sanctuary. This is where you're supposed to have be protected. You know what I'm saying? And because I didn't have that at home, I ran away a lot because I would rather have took it out in the street, you know what I'm saying, than to take it at home. And it takes away your self-esteem. It really does. And it makes you feel low. It makes you feel like you're nobody. But like I was like I told my sister and brothers a long time ago when we were growing up, I'd rather my dad had beat me up and sexually abused me than to mess with my sister and brothers. You know, because I don't think they could have handled it. Not saying that any of us deserve to handle any of that.
I understand what you're saying.
But I think I was strong enough. You know, God blessed me to be strong enough to be able to handle that. And growing up, I think that it really made me standoffish for men. You know, before I met my husband, I became a lesbian for 14 years. And I'd rather had been with a woman. You understand what I'm saying? Than to be with a man. Not saying that those relationships are better, you know, but I would rather have just left men alone because that's all they did to me was abuse me, you know. And it seemed like a pattern. And so, you know, it made me angry and bitter. And I have to tell you that bitterness, that anger, when you hold it makes you sick inside your body.
It does. It does.
Yeah.
And you know, one of the things that you said about running away, I was a runaway. You know, I ran away a lot. There was a lot of the atmosphere in my house was very toxic all the time. And what was funny about it was that I didn't really understand how bad it was until I left the house and then went back. I had to actually be taken away from the environment because when I was in the environment, I was so hostile and violent and constantly, you know, they was always trying to take me to the psychiatrist and the psychiatrist would tell them, it's y'all. But I was a kid, so I didn't know that it was true. I was like, why are they saying that? You know, I was crying. So, you know, but the thing was, it took for me to leave and go through a battery of things, you know, jail time and, you know, being a part of a cartel and just going in and out of crazy environments. And I would say I live because I am prophetic and I have a deliverance ministry. But even as a young person, I was always inundated by demons, you know, and I always used to say to my mother, and it's crazy, now I can see what I was saying, but as a child, I was just saying it. And I remember I left my mother's house at 13, and I moved out. And when I came home, when I would come home, I would say stuff to my mother like, you know, I've lived pillow to post. And and listen, girl, because we were surrounded by witchcraft, okay, I would say to my mother, I've seen every demon there is. And so I think what happens, you know, when you start talking about environments and how, you know, being raised in a certain, I think that's why you're the evangelist that you are, or you do the outreach that you do, because God prepared you for certain instances or certain ministry. Would you say that?
That's right. That's right. Yes, I agree. Because you know what I have to say? Whenever we go through things like that, a lot of times we question ourselves because we're always asking God, why did you choose me? Why did I have to go through this? You know, why you didn't choose somebody else? And just like I say in my book, why not us? Why not us be the one? You know what I'm saying? It's got to be somewhere. It's got to start somewhere with somebody strong enough. You know what I'm saying? And I think that the more abuse you go through, you're searching for something. You just want somebody to love you. Yeah, and you want somebody to love you. And that's why I think we end up picking different situations in life, even if they're ungodly. We search for them because we just want somebody to accept us. You know, we're
That's
not
right.
understanding. Why did we have to be abused and hurt? You know what I'm saying? We just wanted to be who we are. You know, and I think that all these situations is what makes us who we are now. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Right. That's exactly right. And so that's what we were saying. That's what the sister was and I were talking about. We were saying that, you know, we can't, when we look at a situation and we watch people, we realize that some of their decisions is based on the fact that that's all they know.
That's right.
And in the end, what happens is that we sometimes we're too harsh on people because we're not giving them the room to say what's really going on with them, or we think we're better than them because we're not going through that. You know what I mean? And,
yeah.
And it's really hard to come out of something if you think everybody is judging you and putting you down.
That's
right. So hold on a second. I'm gonna swing the camera around so you can see Sister Stacy.
Okay.
That's here. So I got someone working the camera. She's hi there. So
how you doing?
Good. So Stacy has a book, and the book is called No More Bandages. And so, what chapter do you think would deal with people in your book concerning self-realization, like seeing themselves in a better light?
The whole book, but because it's truly the whole book, because it's a process,
right?
So it's not just one thing you can see, one thing that you can read, and all of a sudden, boom, I have self-esteem, or boom, I feel better about myself, and no, I shouldn't be in it. It's a process. Mentally, it's just like being saved, like everything else. You got to walk through it.
Right. And so I want you to tell us about your book, Shannon.
Okay. So my book is called From Being Broken to Walking Free in Your New Life with Christ Jesus. In the book, I talk about pretty much everything I did in my life, going from my hustling days to going to prison, being a lesbian, being raised by my dad. And the thing is, in the book, I go into a lot of details. And so you will get to read, like, be in the actual situation. So I kind of went pretty deep. But then after that, I go into the process of letting you know how to get healed. Because it's one thing of being saved, but you got to get delivered from so much stuff. And you got to learn how to forgive you. Not just forgive that person. And it's hard. It's hard to forgive those people that hurt us.
It really is hard. That's hard.
But I try to teach us how to forgive them and how to forgive you. Because if you don't forgive yourself, you can never, ever love nobody, ever. You just can't. And it is hard. You know, I'm not going to say it's easy. Even if a person is dead, if they died today, your hurt is still there. You know, even though you should let it go. And people tell you that. They say, let it go. Oh, it's over. That was the past. But they don't understand what it is to be hurt and broken. Because you become that broken person. You know what I'm saying? And so in the book, I teach you how to get closer to God. I teach you that he will actually make you into a construction site. It takes God to actually put bandages on those healing areas because you can't. We can try. I went to so many psychiatrists and counselors, and I was on so much medicine, and none of that stuff
part of that club. I'm part of the club, girl. I went to.
I had done it all. Look, and when that didn't work, I went to pills, cocaine, alcohol, you name it. I did it.
We on the same bus. We going to the same.
Right, because we're searching. We're looking for some kind of healing. You know, and so I tried to make the book focus a lot more on hurt victims, hurt people, to show them that through God, it doesn't matter. Through God, if you give it to him and you learn how to trust, because the one thing I can say, broken people, that's what's destroyed, our trust. We have trust issues. And those trust issues goes over into our saved lives because that's when we cannot trust God. You know what I'm saying? And if we can learn to trust him and let him actually come in and start healing us, then we won't hurt nobody else. That's the thing.
And that's see, this is I always say, you never should judge a book by its cover.
Mm-hmm.
And then don't judge people by their actions either, because you don't know what's in a person's heart. While I was getting high and doing my thing, I always wanted the Lord. And even in my deepest, darkest place, or when someone thought I was so far from God that he couldn't hear me, I had a place with him still. And that's what that to me, when you get in the judgment business, you block people from being delivered because they feel you. They know that's what you're doing. They're not stupid. They come into an atmosphere. They're looking for the Lord. They come into this judgmental environment. They're like, oh my God. And everybody can't get over that. Everybody can't get over that. Well, I'm gonna play a song. Go ahead, Stacey.
I was just saying that's why love is the key.
Yes.
That is the key. Somebody, you have to be loved. You have someone to start with the love, not the judgment. Not pointing the finger and saying what you're doing wrong, or you need to go, you need to do this. But you need someone to love you.
You need somebody to love you.
And you know what? You know what? You need somebody to love you, but you also need, when you're ready to talk to them, don't put your lifestyle on mine. Because just because you think you've been through something, that don't mean you put my lifestyle down. You know what I'm saying? Like your life is better than mine and I'm just this bad person. Don't put your finger on somebody else's life because you don't know what they've been through. You don't know the shoes that they had to walk. You understand what I'm saying?
See that right there. See, that's the issue for me, because depending on what type of environment you're in, the type of people you're dealing with, there's a lot of people who really coin the fact that they've been through nothing, okay? And they just feel like their personal accomplishments make them better because they have a degree, or they live in a big house, or they got a nice car, or they, I was a cop all my life, or, I was Dudley Do-Right until the end, you know what I'm saying? And,
That's right.
They can't even preach a real message of deliverance for someone who is in pieces on the inside because of their own prejudices that they got to preach over. And when you start dealing with people who need a real word and need a deliverer, that's not the environment they need to be in. Because because a lot of people who go into that environment, I've seen some success stories, but I've also seen them keep falling away. And the reason why they're falling away is because they need a word that breaks that stronghold, but you can't give it to them because you got a stronghold. You got to let go of that prejudice, that bias.
That's right.
So, I'm feeling you, girl. You talking to the right one, honey. All right, I'll be right back. We're going to play a song. This is Evangelist Follow on the Highest Praise Gospel Talk Show, WTMHGospelRadio.com, and we'll be right back. This is Evangelist Tanya Waller. I want you to tune in to the Highest Praise Gospel Radio Talk Show on WTMHGospelRadio.com, where you can receive your blessing and your deliverance on Saturday at 7 p.m. We trying to keep this. I don't know. I'm gonna try to put you on the Bluetooth. Hold on. Okay.
bless me, I like the way you 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 bless me.
Shannon, call back.
I don't
know what happened. Call back. Can you get back on?
I like the way you bless me, 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 I like the way you bless me.
Do me a favor. Can you try to tag some of these people for me? Hey Robert, how you doing?
You just got to black look at that shit. You get pass off a brain. Give me a day. My life is not testimony. All I can give you, you want from me. That's some blessings. All I can tell you, all I can see. Not too much money. My masters, my properties. My enemies, they cut my money. Good shit. They give me life, oh. They give me life, oh.
You know what? Forget it. Don't worry about it. Because she might try to call back.
I don't know what happened.
All right, so we are back. I just want to do some more house cleaning for those that may have not heard earlier. The Heights Praise Gospel Talk Show, we are now selling sponsorships. We are selling sponsorship time and advertisement time. We believe that we are a good marketing strategy for your business, and we would like to give you the opportunity to buy either sponsorship time or advertisement time. So we think it'll fit our audience, what we have. And if you're interested in getting sponsorships with us, all you have to do is go into the description of this show, and there is a link which says sponsorship-add-hbpgts.yolasite.com. Okay, yolasite.com. And if you click on that, you will go to our sponsorship package. And so we are willing to customize the package for you. Just do not ask for a Learjet. I'm not getting you a limo, so nothing like that. Right. And it's not gonna make it rain Skittles either. So, but we do have a really nice package. Now, one of the things that we do have is in-kind donations, which means that there's a list of things there. There's a second page. Now, if you go through your phone, you might not see the menu. The menu is at the very top, okay? It's 3 lines. All you do is click it. Is hubby there?
Yes.
You tell him I want to see him. But anyway, so there's 3. Okay. Hey, hubby, how you doing? God bless you.
Okay, how you doing?
So there's 3 lines at the top of the menu of the page when you're on the phone. Okay, you click those 3 lines and that will take you to the second page, which has the list of the in-kind donations. Now, the in-kind donations, you have to give us a receipt so that we can see that you paid the money that is comparable to the stuff that is on there, okay? And you can't give me a receipt that's cheaper, okay? Because then everybody will try to get a cheap receipt and think they could get, you know, something for nothing, okay? So I'm not going to do it. So I'm telling you now. So if you paid the money and it's comparable to whatever is on the list, we will work with you, okay? Now, we are willing to customize the package according to the rotation time. You can't do more rotation unless you pay more money, okay? I just want to make that straight. You got to keep it real, y'all. And so, like I said, we think that this opportunity will fit your audience. And if you are interested, just go into the description. You can either go to the email, which is the Highest Praise Gospel Talk Show at gmail.com, or you can instant message me, and that's just fine too. On the phone, on the web page, when you hit that click, you hit that link, what will happen is at the very top, what you'll see is my name and address and a number. That's my business number. If you want to call the business number, go right ahead. That's fine. Just leave a message. I never answer my phone. I'm telling you now. I never answer my phone. I screen every phone call. Okay? So if you all leave me a message, guess what? You're a bill collector. So that's all too. So anyway, so that's what we're doing. I just want to keep talking about it during the show because we have such a long show. And if you're interested, once again, we are in negotiations right now. Indira, the website is in the description. It's sponsorship-hpgts.yolasite.com. That's the web address. But all you have to do is go in the description of this show, and you'll see the link because I put it in there. And if you have a hard time with that, instant message me and I'll help you. Okay, it's not, we'll take care of you. Okay, and so so that's the deal with that. We are very excited. We got some authors. We have some musicians people are buying time. We thank God for it. And so, but we're back, and I just want to read some more statistics before we go back into the conversation. And I don't know what I'm doing. I just, everything I touch is just going crazy today. And I'm not exactly sure why, y'all. It's just one of them days that it just do whatever it want to do. But so the reason why I chose Stacy, and the reason why I'm grateful that so do they call you Evangelist, Shonda? What do they call you?
You can just call me Shonda. Pastor calls me Evangelist Shonda, but you call me Shonda.
Okay, Evangelist Shonda. Just kidding. If the pastor say, I think it's good enough for everybody. But
okay.
Yeah. And so, but I'm glad I have Shonda on. I'm glad I have Stacy here. I'm glad I'm here. And we just wanted to really give out some information that could help someone that's in a bad situation. So I want to read the statistics for child abuse. And the statistics are: a report of child abuse is made every 10 seconds. That's from the American Society for the Positive Care of Children. 1 in 3 girls and 1 in 7 boys will be sexually assaulted by the time they reach 18, and that's from the Department of Justice. Wow. More than 4 children die each day because of child abuse, and that's from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. More than 90% of childhood sexual abuse victims know their attacker. Sexual assault of young children as reported to law enforcement by Howard Snyder. So that's a book that they got that information approximately 70% of children that die from abuse are under the age of 4.
Wow.
Now, I want to talk about that. I'm going to read the rest of it, and I want to talk about that because I've been dealing a lot in this show concerning pedophilia and how they're trying to normalize it in the UN, and they're trying to say that it is a sickness and that it's normal. Now, they had a group of intellectuals in Cambridge come together and say that pedophilia is normal, that most normal men have a feeling of wanting to sleep with children.
Mm-hmm.
Let me tell you something. That ain't normal.
Mm-hmm.
And that ain't no most normal men. You a bunch of cray-cray that got a degree and you trying to fool us into believing that's normal. That's not normal. And so that I had a whole report I did on that. It just makes my skin crawl. Okay, about 30% of abuse and neglected children will later abuse their own children, continuing the cycle of violence. U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. And the estimated annual cost of child abuse and neglect in the United States for, and this is an older one, this is 2008, is $124 billion. So you know it's more than that because we're 11 years down the road. And that's from Child Abuse and Neglect Report. And so I'm gonna start with Stacy. And Stacy was saying that she, at 4 years old, had went through some things. I don't know exactly how much she wants to talk about it, but I'm going to give her the mic and let her say some things, because what I want you to do, Stacy, is really minister to those that are watching that may have had some pain and abuse during those formal 8 years, and maybe you can say something that can set them free.
When my mother and father separated when I was 6 months old, and a few years down the line, she met someone kind of quickly, and they started dating. And I remember the day I met him, actually, my stepfather. And, you know, he walked into the apartment, and it just seemed like a downhill thing. To remember that is kind of odd, but at 4.
Right.
But it was defining, I guess,
right,
you could say, in my life at 4. I mean, most people, what I've gone through from 4 on hadn't
But you know what? This is the thing that gets me about people. You don't think children can tell when somebody ain't right?
That's
your
right.
child, that's right. You watch your children. Listen, I got 2 little girls. Well, they're grown now. They 20, almost 30, and 27, and probably 30. But the issue is that I used to watch my kids. If you came in the room and they didn't like you, guess what? You were the garden. You were going to bed.
We don't have that mindset now. Men or women, we just let people come in and watch our kids, and
that's
and I'm not victim blaming or anything of these women, but we all play a part in what's going on with our children.
That's
and
right.
I don't let my kids are all grown now. I have grandkids, but you have to watch your kids.
Yes.
But it was this thing that was almost like in secret. Like my mom didn't really acknowledge it, or she didn't know. And I remember telling her going through this, and it was physical abuse. It wasn't sexual abuse. And then when I finally told her what was going on at 5, I was sent away. So that initial thing made me feel like I did something wrong.
Right.
But I know my mom, now looking back at it as an adult. Right. But then, I'm 5 and I'm being sent away.
Right. So you felt like she chose him over you.
Exactly. Because it still was a lot of years after that.
Right.
And I still endured a lot of, pain.
Right.
A lot of fear. I had, nightmares of him killing us and blood being all over the kitchen floor. Right. These were nightmares of a 5-year-old. Right. So it was just very, very traumatic. Right. And you just even trying to figure out how to handle it. I mean, like y'all talked about therapy and all that. I still was going through all that, just trying to not let it define who I am today. You know?
Right.
But you learn, you go through these things.
So when you went
know.
to your next environment,
Yeah, so I after they eventually separated and divorced, I watched them fight. I watched them physically fight. I watched him, he's done things to everyone. He really mostly had an issue with stepchildren. He didn't do this to his real children, just stepchildren.
Right.
So I don't know, that's a whole other dynamic. But then meeting someone who I thought was nice, he was just a boy, went to the fair, did all this stuff.
right,
Meeting him, and then eventually, like when it's a domestic violence situation, which was one of the things I really wanted to comment on, is a lot of people say I would never do that, but it's not like your first date with the person they start smacking you around and beating you up.
Right.
You develop feelings. It's a process. It's a spirit,
right.
and they take hold of you first,
right,
and then you're to the point where I love him. I can change him. I can help him.
Right.
This is just what love is, and you have to see that as more than that. But it took me many, many years to figure that out. And I don't even say I figured it out. I mean, God really, truly delivered.
right,
But it's a process. And you can't beat yourself up for what you've endured, especially as a child.
Right.
You're not held accountable for that. But you just have to be able to see. And if we know our children are going through something now, we need to help them now.
right.
Don't wait for them to be an adult and then try to figure it out on themselves, because you just maintain that cycle. I thank God that I wasn't abused as a child and then abused my children.
Right.
That is nothing but God.
Right.
But we have to take a stand.
So how did the Lord help you get past that?
No more bandages. Honestly, no more bandages.
And no more. So tell them what.
So no more bandages is about removing the spiritual bandages that we put in our life to cover up what we're dealing with spiritually. Like you can't have a Band-Aid on a sore for 20 years.
Right.
You can't do that also on your spirit, on your soul, whatever's been damaged, your heart. You can't put a Band-Aid on it and leave it on there for 20 years.
Right.
You have to rip that Band-Aid off. You just have to rip it off, let the air get to it, let God get to it, and start healing it. And that's where God started. It was about acknowledging what had happened, where I had been, and then trying to use it. And like you were saying, Shonda, you have to, you realize what's going on, and you just have to move forward. You just can't, be stuck in this thing. You have to realize what you're doing, and you have to have God, step in and deliver you from that.
Right. So Shonda, go ahead and minister to those that are out there, concerning being delivered, in that coming out as a child, especially.
It took me until to actually remember that I had been, molested by my dad at 5 years old. I literally was in my 20s. And I have to say that sometimes because it's so traumatic, God will suppress those things so that you can't remember them. And it took me, I literally have to start having dreams in order for me to even know that that's what really means, and not this little girl I have been dreaming. And I have to say, when it came down to the abuse from my dad, my mom was one person that did not believe it, and I have to speak to those people that out there. If you are going through it and you're a teenager or you're a kid, I don't care if it's your dad, your mother, your grandmother, your uncle, your aunt, sister, brother, it doesn't matter. Tell somebody. And even if you tell somebody at your house and they don't believe you, tell somebody that you know. Because when you suppress those memories for years and years, it eats at you. Like, I had so many surgeries, and, now I can't even have a baby because I lost one because of all that trauma and stuff in my head. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I have to say that even though they're trying their best to legalize pedophilia, even videos that I have seen where people actually think it's normal. Like, they literally say, it's okay for me to go in here and sleep with my kids, no matter how old they are, because they're mine, and I can do that. you know, and you have to also understand that it's not you. It's not about you. And even if it is your parent that did it, somebody you thought you could trust, it's not about you, baby. It wasn't you. It had nothing to do with you. Don't let nobody tell you, what did you have on? You know, how did you seduce him? You know, or her, or whatever. It's the spirit that was in him or her that caused them to do it.
That's good. That's
you know,
good.
it is.
That's
Let
good.
God heal you from it, because I'm gonna tell you something. Just like she said, you know, she didn't grow up and end up abusing her kids. I have one daughter, and I was so tough on her, you know, and I didn't want her to turn out bad, you know.
Right.
And even when we try ourselves to protect our kids, you know, we try to be there to stop any harm from coming to them. Somehow, some way, the enemy's gonna get to them anyway. They are,
Right.
no matter how hard you try to protect them. And the thing is, us as parents, we just gotta not let that affect us. Don't let it affect you. Don't let it destroy you within yourself because you weren't able to protect. You know what I'm saying? Because the thing is, when we're growing up, we ask ourselves, who was gonna protect me from that person?
Right.
Well, how was I supposed to get protected in my own household when I'm supposed to be protected and not hurt? You know?
Right.
And I thank and praise God that my husband now, you know, when I first met him, I let him read my book because I wanted him to understand.
Like, okay, you want to know me? Read this book right here.
Read it. Exactly. That means if you don't like it, bye. You know what I'm saying? And he told me that he read my book 3 times and he understood it. And the thing is, it scared me to even want to be with a man because I always hated them. You know, all the stuff that I went through caused me to hate. And I had such a hatred for men that I didn't care who they were. You know, I didn't have no respect for them. And it was almost like, even when I met my husband, the enemy still tried to bring those same things into this marriage, you know. But I thank and praise God because he still got the victory. He does. You know what I'm saying? He still can overcome all things. And I have finally been blessed with a man that really loves me. He loves me. He understands me. And God has somebody for you. It doesn't matter what you've been through, the abuse, the hurt. It doesn't. The only thing that I can say to these women, and even teenagers, kids, don't hold it in. Whatever you do, don't hold that pain in because it will destroy you. It will. It will break your spirit. You'll lose your self-esteem. You'll think you're lower than anything. You know what I'm saying? And so you'll do everything you can to try to be more than what you should be. You know what I'm saying? Fighting, you know? And then in turn, that anger comes out in your life. You know what I'm saying?
It comes out in your life.
It comes out in your life. So the one thing that I can tell everybody, I know that abuse destroys trust. That's the one thing it does. But if you can have just a little bit of trust for God, he can change any situation.
And see, this is the thing that I've never really hear people say, but I have heard it, but I just don't hear it a lot, is that just because it felt good to you doesn't mean it was your fault.
That's right. That's right.
Because a child's body has never been touched. And when you're so innocent, you're not mentally really prepared to protect yourself from that type of attack. And so
that's right.
they are predators. A predator is someone that watches your personality and figures out a way to get what they want from you based on what your reaction is going to be. And they know how to keep you in a happy place so that they can trick you into getting your body.
That's right. That's right. And you know what's bad about that? When they do that to a young child, they open up that kid's mind. It's already closed because they don't know nothing about sex. They don't know anything. They're not even thinking about you sexually. But as soon as they open up that door, they open up the door for that baby to start thinking about all kinds of stuff. They're starting to do things to their
Perversion,
body.
the spirit of perversion comes in
and open
because
up
that
spirit.
person has the spirit of perversion. But the thing is what I find is a lot of times people struggle with the fact that their rapist or their statutory rapist or the person who tricked them into this sexual liaison, and you think you were agreeing to it, but really, honey, they had your number before you even got to that point. Okay?
That's right.
And you're so bound by the thought that you liked it that you can't even be real about it so that you can get delivered. But what
That's
you
right.
need to do is first forgive yourself. That's what I loved what you said, Shonda. You said, listen, you got to forgive yourself. You've got to forgive yourself. And that's the thing about a sexual a relationship or a sexual contact, is that you can get a gratification out of it, but and then feel like because I got that out of it, I'm a bad person and God don't want me because I agreed to it. But you got to know the spirit that was behind getting you to that point, and take the responsibility that yes, I did get some good. I did get my jollies off that, but at the same time, okay, I know that I was too young to be in that situation, and why did that adult take me there?
That's right. That is right. That is right.
Because until you get to a point where you see that person who did that to you as a person that is a bad person, instead of projecting it on yourself as I'm a bad person. No, that was an adult and you was a child. That adult should have never had you there. So that's
right.
The first thing you need to come to terms with. I was with this older man, and sometimes you think being with an older man make you cute because, you know, you young and you like, I got this old man and he buying me some. Nigga, person, let me tell you something. The truth of the matter is you were tricked into that situation, and you need to come to terms with you were too young to be there. And even though you might have thought at that moment that you were emotionally and mentally ready, you was not. And that's why you still messed up to this moment.
Mm-hmm.
And this is when the Lord Jesus Christ, the only way you can get delivered is by being honest and starting first with yourself. You can't be honest.
You know what, Tanya? You also have to let them know that people will get in their head and they'll tell them, oh, it was you. You're the one that did this. You caused them to look at you like that. What were you wearing? So you got to, these people, these young girls, they got to start forgiving themselves. Don't listen to what people are telling you about the situation. It ain't got nothing to do with you. It's because that person was sick. And because they were sick, you know what I'm saying? And so the main thing that the person will let them know is, oh, well, you let this old man get to you. So now that's all you're going to be good for. It's somebody's bad person. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, and
in their mind,
so good. I'm glad you're saying that, because
in their mind, they're thinking this is all I'm good for.
That's so right. And so Stacy was saying that to me. Wait, turn the camera to Stacy. Stacy was saying that, and Stacy, just when we were talking about how people will put people down and when they're in an abusive situation, and so just give some more information on that.
I was just saying, you know, people, we like to judge.
Right.
Whatever, what your hair look like, what you got on,
right,
what situation they in, not knowing, not ever walking a mile in my shoes, not ever living my life. We start to judge and criticize, and so we, you know, that's the first thing that you know makes you feel even lower than you already did.
And so you gave me your testimony about how you started to come back from feeling your self-esteem becoming being restored. How did tell the testimony? Okay. Hold on, y'all. That was just a small technical difficulty. Hold on. I'm about to give a testimony. Here, let me help you. And so, All right, there you go.
There are several, but I really have to say it was having someone come into my life
Right.
to remind me, to
Yes.
show me love, true love, because young and being in
And,
this
and
relationship.
it wasn't a man, okay?
No, it
so
wasn't.
that's the important part of it. I want you to tell it like
Right,
you told me.
so- right. It wasn't a man. It was my cousin, actually. She came
Yes.
in, and I had this warped sense of what love looked like, based on what I saw as a child, and then going into a teenager, and so I thought that's what it was supposed to look like.
Right.
So first, God sent my cousin, and she just loved on me, and yet a woman,
Right.
she cared for me. She didn't judge me. She told me about God, and she, even when we were hanging out, partying at my house,
Right.
she would come, but she wasn't partaking in that.
Right,
but
right.
she was still showing love. We say, in the name of Jesus, I don't want to be around you. You doing this or you doing that.
Right.
But we have to show love. Jesus went everywhere. Jesus didn't stand out the door
Your
and say,
smoke ain't gonna
"Come out
blow
of
my
there."
Holy Ghost out.
right, throw that cigarette down and then come out and tell you about Jesus. No, Jesus went where he needed to go.
Right.
And so we have to do that. We have to love. And so she came and she just was my friend. We didn't even realize we were cousins. We just started working at the same place, realized we had a connection,
Yeah.
became friends, and then realized we were cousins. So it just escalated from there, but it really taught me that I was more than what I thought. And she defended me.
Right.
Even to him, he would call me all kinds of names, everything but Stacy.
Right.
And she would say, "You're not gonna talk about her like that around me."
Uh-huh.
But like I said, she had my back. She was
Right.
ready to go at it for me. If y'all know Joanne, y'all know. But I needed that love. I needed
Right. You
some
needed that
unconditional.
protection. Right.
Yeah. At that time, I was being loved based on what I did correctly,
Right.
and that's not what love is.
Right.
And
So explain that a little bit. Being loved because you did something.
Right.
Explain that.
right, you love is an action, first of all, but you can't love someone simply because they did what you told them to do.
Right.
Just like your child, your children are gonna mess up. Your children are gonna do whatever they want. You
Right.
still, at the end of the day, that's your child, and you love them.
Right.
I was in a relationship where I felt like I had to look a certain way, act a certain way.
Right.
I needed to look like the women in the videos and
Right.
do all this and be as high as I could and as drunk as I could,
Right.
and just, and that's when I could at least relax, because I'm an introvert by nature.
Right.
But so I had to get good and high and good and drunk and everything else in between before I could really feel like I could fit in. And so
Right.
that became my cover up. That became my bandit. And I had to learn that I was worth more than that. I didn't need to do all this to be loved, in quotes,
Right.
by someone who had no idea what love was because they didn't love themselves.
Right. Right.
And so I needed to know what real love was.
Amen. Well, this is Evangelist Walla on the Highest Praise Gospel Talk Show, WTMH Gospel Radio. We will be right back.
This is Evangelist Walla, and I'm on the Highest Praise Gospel Radio Talk Show. I want you to tune in so that you will be able to receive your blessing. This is Evangelist Walla, and I'm on the Highest Praise Gospel Radio Talk Show.
All right. I just want you to know who I am over and over again.
Every step. They sound like this.
This is my song.
My song.
Reset my life so I can do the will of
You're
the
doing so good, girl.
Thank you. I'm so nervous.
my life so I can do the will of the Lord. Oh, yeah. Reset my life so I can do the will
I got some stuff going. I got
Like
my life so I can do the will of the Lord.
they like Evangelist Walla.
When I need your touch
Oh my God.
to restore
My
the
eyes are
strength of my heart.
I got old eyes, you know. I'm going
Right?
on 49 and my eyes are old. They're like,
Hey, I'm 43. Don't say that.
can't see a thing, child. I put my glasses on. You're so beautiful with my glasses on. You're so blurry with my glasses on.
You're so beautiful.
Girl, I went through all of this to get this thing in anymore.
You did great.
Huh?
You did great. Oh, okay.
I can't hear nor see now. Okay. Oh, what's I'm up here looking at.
Whatever you want me to do, show me the way. Whatever you want, I'll say. Lord, I wanna take you smile.
Yeah. Well, that was Stephen Hickerson. From Georgia, and he is such a good gospel singer. I just love that young man. What I want to say is that, and we haven't talked about this for a while. For those that are out there that would like me to play your music, right now what we're doing is it is part of the sponsorship package. We also are doing it where if you contact me, we will discuss how to get your music played. So just contact me. We're doing things different now. So before you could just send the music in, but right now, because of the fact that we're doing sponsorship. So I'm back to the sponsorship. I'm going to talk about that. And so, like I said, the Highest Praise Gospel Talk Show is providing marketing strategies for businesses, okay? And we really believe that our marketing strategies for sponsorship and for advertisement will be a good fit for our audience. And so what we want you to do is we want you to go into the description that is on with this show later on when we're off. Go to the description and go to the website link, which is sponsorship-ad-hpgts.yolasite.com. Now, once you go over that information, you can either call me, or because there is a business number there, or you can email me, which most people do, or instant message me. We do have an in-kind donation list, which is the second page. What we want you to do is make sure your receipt is comparable to the price on the sponsorship package. Now, this is another thing that I didn't bring up, is that we do advertisements. In other words, you can send me an already pre-made commercial. Now, on the sponsorship page, it tells you what the instructions are, okay? Now, and I'm going to say it because sometimes you got to have repetition. So, what it is that it has to be submitted 5 days before the show. That means a week ahead of time. And then it has to be okayed. It means that you can't just send me anything and I'm just going to put it on there, because it ain't going to happen. So what I need, I don't want no cussing. I don't want no fresh talk, none of that. All right, this is a Christian family show. And I know every once in a while you think I'm going to go there, but I haven't. And I promise you I won't. So my point is that don't send me that. So, if you want to do if you want to do something on the radio, it's a lot easier than doing something video, because if you're doing something video, we're going to have to give you the specs of what the video has to be, and when we give you the specs, you have to make sure it's quality, and then we will look over it and okay it. And if it's not, we will tell you what you need to do. We're not going to just treat you like you're not worthy. We're just going to help you. Okay, that it means we're not saying that you can't be on here. We're just going to tell you what you need to tweak, so that way you can get it on. Okay, so that's what for the advertising. Now the advertising, like I said, for the radio is easy. All you gotta do is do an MP3 and submit it. You can instant message it, but remember, you gotta pay to get it on. Okay, don't send it and say, "Oh, you said send it." No, you gotta pay. Okay, this is a sponsorship. So just go to the link, click on it, go over the information that's on there. If you have any questions, remember, we are willing to customize the package for you. We can replace some things for other things, but we're not getting you a Learjet, we're not getting you a limo, and we're definitely not getting TD Jakes to come to your conference, okay? Not gonna happen. Okay, so we're back, and so that's the sponsorship package. And so I got these two wonderful women. Now, how do people get your book, Shonda?
I actually got a picture of it. This is the book right here. They can get it on Amazon. I am on Amazon. And so if they put in my name, Shonda Caldwell, or they can put it in the book name, From Being Broken to Walking Free and Your New Life with Christ Jesus, it's actually on there. I believe the book is $15. But if they want to, they can message me and I'll send them one for free.
She's so crazy.
You know what?
Did you hear that? She loved the Lord.
That's what he does. God is like, you know what? Give this person the book.
So instant message her and get off her. All right, so we're gonna let Stacy tell us how we can get her book.
So if you go to the website nomorebandages.com and click the books tab, it is located there. If you do that, it'll ship within a day. It's also on Amazon.com too. And you can also message me or put it in the chat here too.
So those are both books or just
Yeah, so we're in the process of getting the second book printed, but the first book, I still do have copies of that. And so the first book is 7 and the second one is 10. If you buy them both, you can get them both for 15.
All right. And my book is in the making, but I was telling Stacy, I was telling her, now, you know how people, when they go for a job, they will have, you need a bachelor's or you can have 20 years of experience. And it is the same as having a bachelor's, right? But when you write a book, it's like having a PhD, okay? Because you got the life experience to back up your book. Well, when my book come out, I'm going to be Dr. Tanya Waller. And all you guys do to get my book, I'll let you know. But seriously, we are going to have on our website all these books that are all the authors that I'm bringing on the show. I will be giving them opportunity to sell their books or give them away. Anyone they want. Whatever they want to do is their book, but I will be giving opportunity for people to get these publications, because what happens is that when you are in between destinations, say you have a goal, right? It could be a short-term goal, but from A to B, there's a space. You need to personally grow. You need to educate yourself. You need to, and when it comes to God, when you are trying to get delivered and you're trying to go from being a person that is bound to a person that is free, that's a destination. Well, in between those two destinations, you need publications to read that will encourage you. You need to read the word. You need to pray. You need to fast. You need to have your spiritual disciplines in such a way that it becomes a lifestyle. And reading is a big part of becoming a better person, because what happens is that you take in, especially when you're reading the Bible, you're actually feeding your spirit. And when you're reading other people's testimonies, you realize you're not the only one that has gone through that. And you realize that if they came out, I can come out too. And so I feel like our camera person want to say something. You want to say something? Oh. Oh, we got 5 minutes. I just thought she was coming from behind the camera. I got excited. Oh my Lord, I thought we would say, listen, that would have been deliverance and that would have been a restoration all at once. We would have had a revival, I promise you. But yeah, so Shonda, tell us a little bit about any other projects that you might be working on right now.
So on top of being a writer and an evangelist, I also make candles.
Ooh.
Yes, ma'am. And
Did
so
you expect me to be so excited?
Right?
Ooh.
Now the candles that I make, they don't look like normal candles that you buy in the store. So I have different types of candles that look like food. I have candles that have shoes inside of them. Matter of fact, I'll grab one real quick so you can see.
Okay, get them. That is, you know what? I love candles. I love perfume. For anybody that wants to know, I love perfume. I love candles. I love jewelry. I love food. Oh, and I love clothes. I can't forget that. I love clothes. I'm trying to fill the time because she's going to get a candle. But
Okay.
and oh, here she's back. She's back. Woo woo.
So I have candles that look like shoes. This is made with gel wax, and so it has a shoe inside of it. I don't know if you can see it. And when you burn the candle, it will never mess this scene up. It'll still look just like that. And
Wow.
I also have some that I made for like the Disney. So I have like crowns inside.
I like that one.
And they smell phenomenal. And the thing is, when you these right here are 18.
And how do you got a Cash App? How do you do it?
Oh yeah, you can do Cash App. I'll ship it to you. Go to my website. If you go to Aromatic Expressions, you can actually go on there, and all the candles are on there. There's some that look like food.
Can you put that? Can you put that on my page?
Let me do it right now.
For everybody to be able to get it. You can do it after you come off. So that just put it on put it on my profile page and put it on the Highest Praise Gospel Talk Show page.
Okay. Okay. You don't have to tell me how to do it because I don't really know how to work Facebook. Hey, I can make candles, but I ain't technical like that.
Okay.
But I can definitely ship them to you. We're going to be doing some stuff for Christmas and for the fall. I'm going to have some that's going to have leaves in it. I'll have some that have Christmas trees in it. And the smells last and last and last. Oh my God, they're super strong. You'll love them.
That sounds good. I'm going to love it. I'm going to get me one. Look. Well, we all gonna get one. You got any with like dog scenes?
I can do that. I can make some. Whatever you want, I can make them.
Oh, my camera person says she want one with a dog.
Okay, I got you.
A Rottweiler, she said. She didn't say Chihuahua. She said Rottweiler. All right, well, we're at the end of the show. Come on, Sister Caldwell, pray us out.
Me?
She sound like me. She said me.
Yeah, you. Pray us out.
Okay.
You can do it.
Okay. Heavenly Father, we thank you so much for blessing us to come together as one, standing in your presence, oh God. We just ask that you reach out to those who are hurting, those who are in an abusive situation, oh God, and you turn that situation around, Lord. You don't let that enemy get into their head and cause them to stray away from you, God. Let them know that you will come in and stop all situations, God, because you have a way and an escape for each and every situation that we go through, God. We bind the hand of the enemy even now. We bind them from the north, east, south, and west, and we cancel every assignment that he has sent out to those that are attached to us in the name of Jesus. God, that we ask even now that you curse the very root of the causes of abuse for those people who are going through it, oh God. Give them healing that only you can do, oh God. Come into their heart and put the bandages on it to those people who need it. There are so many people out there, God, that are suffering. Send them to these pages, Lord Jesus, so that they can find help even now, Lord God. Lord, I just ask that you send peace in each and every environment, Lord Jesus. I have peace to stand still. You said that you would give them precious, perfect peace, whose mind is stayed on them. Lord, we just ask that each person start even now, oh God, looking towards you for their help at all times, Lord God, and stop seeking the help from those that cannot even help the situation, Lord Jesus. Lord, I thank you so much for right now for Evangelist Tanya, for even opening up her heart and even just starting a ministry like this, Lord Jesus. I thank you so much for letting me be a part of it, oh God. And I just ask that you just continue to bless her each and every day as those people contact her seeking the help of God. Let them speak even now, Lord Jesus. I just pray for their protection, oh God, that you cover them from the crown of their heads to the soles of their feet, Lord Jesus. And we ask for peace and your blessing in all things. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Amen. God bless you. Thank you for calling.
Thank
And
you.
all right, and I'll see y'all next Saturday.
Okay, bye.
You gonna finish it?
Mhm.
Okay.